Welcome to today's news discussion. I'm Sarah, and I'm joined by Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. Let's dive into the stories we have today.
There's been a tragic incident in South London where a man, woman, and child died after falling from a height. The emergency services were called to Churchyard Row in Elephant and Castle on Wednesday.
That's a very disturbing incident. Do we know if it was an accident or if there were any suspicious circumstances?
The reports don't specify the cause, but they do mention that emergency services, including an air ambulance, paramedics, firefighters, and police officers, attended the scene. The police said they were called at 7:29 a.m.
That's incredibly early. Were there any witnesses or details about what happened immediately before the fall?
The articles don't provide specific details about witnesses, but they do consistently report that people had plunged from height. The exact circumstances aren't clear from the information available.
This is a very sad story. Have there been any official statements about the incident or investigations underway?
The Met Police confirmed that emergency services were called to reports of people having plunged from height. There isn't much more detail in the reports we've seen so far.
Okay, let's move on to the next story. What's the update there?
Hello Nation has highlighted Wichita as a finalist for the National Civic League's 2026 All-America City Award. This award seems to recognize cities that are addressing complex community challenges.
That's interesting. What kind of challenges is Wichita tackling, according to the reports?
The story mentions that the award explores how cities rebuild public trust while addressing community challenges, but it doesn't go into specific details about Wichita's initiatives.
Are there other cities that are also finalists for this award?
Yes, the reports mention Monrovia and Stowe as other finalists. It seems like the National Civic League is recognizing multiple cities for their efforts.
That's great to see. What are Monrovia and Stowe being recognized for, according to the stories?
Monrovia is being highlighted for strengthening community well-being by redesigning public systems around resident needs. Stowe is being recognized for modernizing while preserving community identity and strengthening resident participation.
So it sounds like these cities are being recognized for a range of community-focused initiatives. Is there a common thread among the finalists?
From what we can gather, the common thread seems to be their efforts to address community challenges in innovative ways. The specific approaches vary from city to city.
That's really positive to see. Let's move on to the next story.
There's been a dramatic incident at Detroit Metropolitan Airport where a car crashed into a passenger terminal and the driver was arrested. Images showed an SUV inside the terminal and the driver in handcuffs outside a police car.
That sounds chaotic. Do we know how the vehicle managed to get past the concrete barriers along the curb?
The reports don't clarify how the vehicle got around the barriers. They simply state that the driver was immediately arrested after the crash.
Were there any injuries or significant damage reported?
The articles don't mention specific injuries or the extent of the damage. They focus on the fact that the driver was arrested.
There's a mention of the driver screaming something during the incident. Do we know what that was?
According to one report, the driver was screaming, "Get out my way, bitch," as they crashed into the terminal.
That's quite alarming. Is there any indication of what might have motivated the driver's behavior?
The reports don't provide any insight into the driver's motivations or state of mind. The focus is on the fact that they were arrested.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic.
We've got some information about upcoming news broadcasts. BBC London News Weather is airing on BBC One London HD at 1:35 p.m. on Friday, May 29th.
That's a good reminder to check the TV listings. Are there other news broadcasts mentioned around the same time?
Yes, ITV Lunchtime News Weather is on ITV1 London +1 at 2:30 p.m. on the same day, and ITV Evening News is on ITV1 London at 6:30 p.m.
So there are multiple options for catching up on the news. Do we know what kind of content these broadcasts will cover?
The articles mention that they will provide the latest updates from the region and a roundup of the day's news headlines. Nothing specific about the content is detailed.
Okay, that's helpful to know. What about other BBC News broadcasts?
BBC News airs on BBC One London HD at 12:25 a.m. on Saturday, May 30th, and there's also a mention of it airing at other times on different channels.
So it sounds like BBC News is available on multiple platforms and at various times. Is there any additional information about the content of these broadcasts?
The reports indicate that the broadcasts will cover the latest national and international stories, as well as a roundup of the latest headlines.
That sounds comprehensive. As we've covered all the stories, I think we're ready to wrap up.
We've discussed the tragic incident in South London, the cities recognized by Hello Nation, the car crash at Detroit Metropolitan Airport, and the upcoming news broadcasts. That's all for today's discussion.
Thanks for the thorough coverage, Sarah. Until next time.
Thank you, Sean. Until next time.